The ever-expanding world of Cthulhu Mythos, first created by H.P. Lovecraft, has given birth to a number of powerful creatures. If they're seen today, they will become YouTube famous in no time, even though there won't be any audience to subscribe. As Lovecraft left his world open to other writers, many joined in, creating generations of creatures expanding from billions of years ago to far ahead in the future. One such writer is Clark Ashton Smith, and today we'll be talking about his creation, named Hziulquoigmnzhah. This lesser-known deity is not much talked about, as you can expect from it having such a tongue-twister name. So let's dig into this world of wonder. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The origins of Hziulquoigmnzhah, an ancient being beyond time. Clark Ashton has written a series of short stories that take place in Hyperborea, which is present-day Greenland. This fictional prehistoric world is written with numerous short stories that are collectively known as the Hyperborean cycle, and have become a part of the Cthulhu Mythos timeline, as they have multiple associations with Lovecraftian elements. This Hyperborean setting merges cosmic horror with an Iron Age setting, where the Ice Age is close on the horizon, as a constant threat that can wipe out all life from the Hyperborean continent. So this mysterious deity, Hziulquoigmnzhah, is mentioned in Clark Smith's short story The Door to Saturn, which was first published in January 1932 in the American pulp magazine named Strange Tales of Mystery and Terror. This short story is the birthplace of this hard-to-pronounce deity that we only briefly encounter through the eyes of the protagonist, and their encounter as well as the outcome is quite funny compared to the vast seriousness of other creatures of this universe. Encounters and worship, Hziulquoigmnzhah in the lore. The story follows the sorcerer Ibon as he escapes his arrest at the hands of Morki, who is the high priest of the goddess Yonde. Under the reverence of this elk goddess, the ex-gods aren't allowed to be worshipped, and the jealous Morki frames Ibon for still worshipping the older god Zjaja, and falsely acquiring his magical powers through the wrong means of his connection with the god. Morki soon finds out that all his claims are surprisingly accurate when he raids Ibon's house and finds many artifacts relating to Zjaja that only a devotee would have. Morki thinks that his plan of arresting Ibon has failed, and amid his frustration, he finds a supernatural panel to a world beyond. Turns out, Ibon had gained many powers and knowledge from Zjaja, including the tip of Morki coming to catch him, given that Ibon had followed various rituals and made all the sacrifices for that which he had gained. The most brilliant of all, Zjaja, had gifted him a secret panel that could act as a portal to Hziulquoigmnzhah, the planet known as Saturn in the modern world. Zjaja had warned him to only use this panel in grave necessity, as the world of Hziulquoigmnzhah didn't work as well as that of Earth. Zjaja had told him about his relative, who's currently the god of Hziulquoigmnzhah. He told him his name, the most inarticulable of all, Hziulquoigmnzhah, and told him that he can use this name as a sort of password to assure his relative that Zjaja has sent him, or a way to assure that he is no threat. When Morki's troops approach his house, Ibon grabbed his important belongings, bread and wine, and jumped into the portal. He arrived in this weird-looking world of Hziulquoigmnzhah, where the flora and fauna haunted him alike. After walking down the uncomfortable slope where the dirt under his feet felt like it would swallow him whole, he finally met the good old relative. Unlike what he had imagined or feared, this entity was rather lost in its own world, quite lazy, almost sleepy, and laid back. It had short legs and elongated arms, while its round, sleepy-looking head hung downward from his spherical body, and seemed like he was walking in his sleep. The creature didn't even register Ibon's presence, while drowsily minding his own business. After Ibon observed the creature more closely, he was able to find some vague similarities between this entity and Zjaja. He remembered how Zjaja had told him that the form he wears on Earth is a bit different from the one he wears in Hziulquoigmnzhah. The entity continued walking, or you could say crawling, down the slope. As its absurdly short legs weren't of much help, Ibon watched as it quenched its gigantic thirst with the fluid metal lake water. As the entity started ascending to the ledge, it paused and took notice of the clueless human staring at it. Ibon found his voice and sought to articulate its name as the password, hoping that he didn't offend the entity with his foreign pronunciation. The creature now looked less sleepy, as it seemed to be trying to correct Ibon's pronunciation. After Ibon called out Zjaja's name 3 times, the entity also repeated the same name with a thicker accent. It regarded Ibon for a while before finally pointing his long arm in a direction along the shore, and muttering the words "Iqui dlosh onklok." As Ibon stood there pondering what the hell these words meant, the entity just turned around with its usual bored expression and left. As soon as it was out of sight, guess who arrived? Morki, the jealous priest. Now that he has met the heretic, Morki charges at him through words, exclaiming his arrest. Aibon is surprised but now startled as he casually advises Morky to hold his tongue and reminds him that they're both in a different world, far away from Morky's goddess grasp. Aibon then boasts that he was just talking to one of the gods of Sychranosh, who had directed him to a location and gave him a mission to deliver his message. He suggests that they should set aside their earthly fights and go on this mission together, as they have all their lives to slit each other's throats when they go back to Earth. After some initial hesitance, Morky finally agrees to Aibon's offer, before exclaiming that their matter must continue when they go back to Earth. Off they go on a journey to deliver the three-word message that Hziulquoigmnzhah had delivered to Aibon a few moments ago. They soon meet a community of creatures who call themselves Lemphroims. Aibon delivers the message, but these people have become more materialistic and have lost touch with God as well as the archaic language. Hence, they're not able to understand what Hziulquoigmnzhah means. The travelers stay with these people for a few months, enjoying the experience, but have to escape when these creatures choose them as the fathers for their next generation. After a long journey, they meet another community called the Idhim, right after an avalanche has destroyed their village. Mind you, that this community is a hardcore devotee of Hziulquoigmnzhah. Aibon delivers the message of Hziulquoigmnzhah, and the villagers burst out in gleeful commotion, hurriedly locating their goods to a different location. After the community has settled down in another area away from the mountains, the travelers learn the real meaning of these words. It literally means, "be on your way," which Hziulquoigmnzhah had only uttered to dismiss Aibon in the pointed direction. The Idhims took it as a message from the god to change the location, and started treating both Aibon and Morky as the messengers of gods. Realizing that they're a long way from home, both travelers also resign to spending the rest of their lives with the Idhim community, that has also been renamed as Glomf. Meanwhile, on Earth, the faith of Yonde declines, followed by a worldwide revival of the dark worship of Zjaja before the arrival of the Ice Age. Hziulquoigmnzhah's place among the other Great Old Ones. This deity is not much known as compared to the Great Ones like Cthulhu, Hastur, or Nyarlathotep. The only connection we're able to make according to the story is its relation with the infamous entity Zjaja. Aibon tells Morky that Hziulquoigmnzhah is the paternal uncle to Zjaja, and if you're also knee-deep into this mythos, you must know his prominence. Zjaja is the pot-bellied toad-like deity that looks more like a monster than a god. Much like his uncle, he's extremely lazy and is often seen dozing off. He's so Gen Z that he can eat you alive if you disturb his sleep, unless the Awaker offers him a sacrifice. There are other relationships connected to this mysterious god. According to the internet records, Hziulquoigmnzhah's parent is an outer god named Hziulquoigmnzhah, who lived in Zoth, a binary star system. There are no physical depictions of this entity, and it's assumed to be out of the realms of human imagination. This entity came into being through spontaneous fission, as an offspring of Azathoth. Along with his family, Hziulquoigmnzhah settled on the planet Yugoth, which is modern-day Pluto, but his cannibalistic desire scared away his entire family to scatter across the universe. And as we know it, Hziulquoigmnzhah ended up escaping to Sychranosh, where he still resides. I can imagine him scrolling away on the internet while being a lazy potato up there. Not much is known about Hziulquoigmnzhah's sister, Hziulquoigmnzhah, other than the fact that she's also his mate. Hziulquoigmnzhah's brother, Hziulquoigmnzhah, is also known as the Sound of Deep Waters. He inhabits the darkest depths of the ocean where no light can reach. However, he hasn't yet revealed in his bio if he's scared of light or just likes to stay in a dark room. Hziulquoigmnzhah and his sister, Hziulquoigmnzhah, have two kids, Isbaden and Skathek, but not much is known about these two, just like their parents. Hence, the only celebrity connection that Hziulquoigmnzhah has is with his nephew Zjaja, and it seems that his entire family likes to stay indoors, tucked away in their introverted comfort zones. Marvelous verdict. The Cthulhu Mythos writers did a remarkable job of showing the irrelevance of humanity in the face of the external threats that exist in this universe. Humans had never felt so inconsequential before. Imagine the most powerful and gigantic otherworldly creatures that ruled Earth before humanity was even a thought. Wake up from their sleep to acquire what's rightfully theirs. However, I'm certain that Hziulquoigmnzhah will roll his eyes at the chaos and will choose Netflix and chill in his soundproof room. What are your thoughts on this unbothered entity? And what other lesser-known entities are among your favorites? Let us know in the comment box below. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.